What's up, y'all? You know what time it is. It's about to be that time.
What's up, everybody? We are here for 1107, 1107. And just as we discussed last week, we're going to bring the live reaction back into the streams here. So that's what we're going to start the stream with. We haven't done this before, so let's make sure that there are no technical difficulties. I'm going to play the pre-recorded video. That video is going to end, and then we're going to get right into the discussion. Okay. And shout out to Retro Bat, member for 13 months, who said, "Can't believe it's been over a year with the Savages." Yep. Appreciate you. All right. Let's go. Here it is. Okay, people, we are back with chapter 1107. We're back from break.
久しぶりだな.
What are we going to get into today? Last chapter was ridiculous. We brought the Giants, Dory and Brogy, back. They are involved in the action. We haven't caught up with Zoro in a while, so I'm expecting some Zoro stuff here. We need to know what's going on. Jinbei's about to go and, help him out. Something like that. Is Luffy going to get involved into the mix? Are we going to get more Sun God lore? What's happening? I don't know. But we're going to get into it, and then it'll get right into the live discussion. All right? Here we go. All right, the page request for today involves Law and Beppo, reminding us that they're still around. Well, I mean, the anime reminded us that they're still around, so... Is this what they've been up to? No. Okay, so that was page 1, moving on to page 2. All right. So we talked about this. We did say, what if Oimo and Kashi were with them? Because we already know from, Eni's Lobby that Oimo and Kashi were part of their crew. And we did see them in that spread with Shanks and everything in 1076. So I did say we were probably getting some Oimo and Kashi in this one. So I love that these guys are just, dishing out some orders here. Oh, we're seeing some people we've never seen before. Or maybe we have. I mean, we'll have to, actually... we'd have to go back and, cross-reference. I'm seeing people that I don't immediately recognize. Other than Oimo and Kashi. Oda has been waiting to draw this. There is no way he has not been waiting for this. So this double page spread is really great. Really great. And this crew is no joke. There are a lot of them. Right, let's move on to the next. Is the whole chapter just going to be them demolishing these ships? Because I don't know. I'm okay with that. I'm here for it either way. They are doing intense damage. You gotta love it. All right. Oh, we're gonna get Usopp noticing that they're here. Yes. Yes, let's get that sweet, sweet Usopp growth. Yes. This is 20-something years in the making here. Waiting for this reunion. Next page. Everybody remembers Oimo Akashi as well. Oda's doing one of his little recaps like he did during the Reverie. I love how vague he is. You know, even though he's doing a recap here in his own story. So they're basically just trying to wonder why they're here. They think that it was the newspapers. Next page. Usopp putting it all together, having an emotional moment. Alright, I think we're going to catch up with Brooke and Lilith. Okay. Brooke is casually sipping on some tea. Okay. Alright. So they need to come up with a plan to get through the Abaphase dome, you know, like the laser thing. So, Alright, so they're not going to go to the ancient robot, it seems. It looks like they're probably going to ask Usopp and Nami to put down the barrier temporarily so that the ship can fly through, and then the ship will probably get caught by Dory and Broggy or something. But they don't know Brooke, and they don't know Lilith, but they'll at least recognize Luffy's Jolly Roger, so... We got Jinbei here, so we are gonna get some Zoro stuff. All right. Next page. Okay, we are getting Zoro stuff. Nice. Let's get these likes up, guys. Like, comment, subscribe if you're feeling the vibe. Looks like the first panel is Zoro, like, slicing off a part of this building or something, maybe. Zoro's giving Lucci some props here. Lucci wants him to leave Zoro behind. Okay, alright. Okay, Zoro. Spitting game. I'm here for that. Good little catch-up. Looks like we're back to Kizaru. Oh no, that's a Mark III. I think. So, like, a third of the fleet has been damaged, either by Mark IIIs or Giants. good. Okay, we have this still unnamed Vice Admiral that I believe this one was the one I called Gilly Chin. Oh. Okay, alright. Moving on to the next page. No more Gilly Chin. Alright, so now they are turning against the Mark IIIs. Alright, we're back to Luffy. Getting into the sauce here. Okay. Saturn, Sanji, Bonnie still looking up in the same position. So we're basically just picking up right where we left off. Although it would appear to me that Luffy is at least he has changed positions. I specifically because I really love the panel. He was pointing this way and now he's pointing this way. So he's been dancing around in the sky. All right, copy. Next page. He wants to know why Bonnie is crying. Okay, so that's where the chapter title comes from. Classic Luffy. Luffy still doesn't know what Nika is. Okay, alright. Yeah. Teacher. Is this the Luffy senpai moment here? He wants to know how the the gum gum gets thrown down. Oh, okay, so Luffy finally realized that he is dancing while Vegapunk is bleeding out. Are we finally gonna get Luffy versus Saturn here? Let's see. Next page. Okay. So Luffy winding up his punch. Saturn did his eye thing. Knocked Luffy back. But he gets him anyway. There we go. This better not be the end of the chapter. Please. I need more than this. I mean, this feels like a last page, but I'm really hoping it's not. Oh, he's laying it into him. All right. Getting our, like, first version of Gatling in Gear 5, I think. I think this is the first time we've gotten that. Okay. Good. It's not the last page. Oh, wow. He sent Saturn back into those egghead buildings. So that means that Saturn is going to be messed up again. Oh. Vegapunk thinks he's done? Are you serious? No way. He can't be serious. Where is Chopper? Did we forget that we have a dot? Did we? All right. Anyway, next page. All right, Kizaru is jumping in. He's about to attack Bonnie. Oof, my guy. My guy. Woo! Alright. I was never Team Sanji versus Kizaru, but here we go. What is this Kizaru face? What is this Kizaru face? Oh, there we go. A classic Sanji line. You gotta love it. This man is defying the laws of physics. The gas on Sanji right now is insurmountable, and I'm here for it. I'm here for it. Sanji pulled up like
Surprise, motherfucker.
Oh wow. Okay, yeah.
It's about to get spicy.
Next page. Are we gonna get heat on feet this chapter? I was not expecting that. I'll have to get the apron. Let's see. Oh, here we go. Cigarette Sanji. This is the equivalent of Zoro putting his bandana on, which he has not done. Right? When he was fighting Zoro, he did not have his bandana on. What happened to Bandana Boy? Anyway, this is Sanji time. Yo, I just wish Sanji had a better outfit, because then this would be like a top Sanji moment. Ooh, wait a second. Is this Katarina Devon? Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. That looks like Katarina Devon's heel. She's going to replace the Gorosei. We talked about this. We definitely talked about this. Like... Oh my god, is this the plan? Replace Saturn. Get in the good graces. Get to Marijoa. Use Katarina Devon to get the secrets that are in Marijoa. Oh man. Brain is melting. Brain is melting. Brain is melting.
It's about to get spicy.
Oh, wow. Okay.
Savage.
Okay. Okay. Okay, let me go to the next page. It is Katarina Devon. And Augur is there? Okay, I was not expecting to see Augur. But, I mean, dude can be anywhere, right? So... This is insane. Wow. Her power works just like Mr. Two's. She just needs to touch. But what are they going to do? Can they kill him, though? Or is it enough? Oh, wait, but Augur, he can warp. Could he get to Marijoa before they can even... I just need to read. Stop getting ahead of myself here. This would have been a great time to get some bounties, though. Saturn knows who she is. And she's gassing up the boy Marshall. Okay, next page. What are they talking about here? And why is he being so calm? Wow. To give Augur a line like that? This panel is cold. Where is Lafitte, though? You can't tell me that it literally was just these two, but this also explains how they got inside. I really didn't think Augur would be there, but of course, like, they could get inside with him. Oh, this is insane. Oh, and then they just leave. Oh man. Augur is now, like, I was saying it when we were watching the episode, that he really shot up in my like character list. But oh my, the way he just looks at Saturn completely unfazed here. This chapter's phenomenal. Are they still here, or did they leave? This is crazy. Caribou? Oh man. Please don't tell me I'm in the mud here. I really wanted him to be Mr. 10. Alright, let's see. Alright. The Occam's razor wins. Caribou's gonna go join Blackbeard's crew. He's gonna tell him about the ancient weapons. It's the way to move the plot for the actual, like, endgame villain. It's the thing that always made the most sense, but I wanted it to be Crocodile. It's what's gonna get Blackbeard to, like, destroy Fishman Island, which makes so much sense because he's got the Quake fruit. He'll break everything. He'll send everybody to the top. It's how he's gonna go to Wano with Augur. You're gonna get Pluton. Oh man, there's a lot to talk about, guys. There's a lot to talk about. All right, so let's get into this. This was crazy. Yeah. Like, comment, subscribe if you're feeling the vibe. Here we go.
Savage.
He said the gods gave us food. Devil gave us spices.
Certified drip.
It's about to get spicy.
Hey, hey, look. He don't feed. He don't feed. He don't feed, bro. He don't feed. He don't feed, bro. He don't feed. He don't feed, bro. He don't feed. He don't feed. He don't feed.
I'm certified drippin'. Catch me in my city. We bout to get litty. I'm savage and I'm gritty.
Look, yeah, I got the heat. Got the heat, huh? And it's on my feet. On my feet, what? Shout out to OP. Huh? Yeah, I'm about to go OP. Go OP, huh? Sanjay with the heat. With the heat. Luffy fuck with me. Fuck with me, huh? Yeah, I got the heat on feet. Heat on feet. Yeah, I got the heat on feet. Heat on feet, bro. Posted with my bae. With my bae. What? Sipping on Bombay. On Bombay. Diable Jambe. Diable Jambe. He don't feed. He don't feed. He don't feed, bro. He don't feed. He don't feed. He don't feed. He don't feed, bro. He don't feed. He don't feed, bro. He don't feed. He don't feed. He don't feed. Let's go. Let's go. I'm about to go, Sanji. Woo. I'm about to go, Sanji. Woo. I'm about to go, Sanji. Woo. I'm about to go, Sanji. Yeah, let's go. Hey, Diable Jambe. Hey, Diable Jambe. Hey, Diable Jambe. Hey, Diable Jambe. Let's go. He don't feed. He don't feed. He don't feed, bro. He don't feed. He don't feed. He don't feed, bro. He don't feed. He don't feed, bro. He don't feed. He don't feed. He don't feed. He don't feed, bro. Let's go.
I'm certified drippin'. Catch me in my city. We bout to get litty. I'm savage and I'm gritty.
Apron on me. Get it, shorty.
Savage.
Shout out OP. Going OP.
Is that too spicy?
Savage.
Let's go, let's go, let's go. Let's go. Yes. Had to flip the drip. Had to flip it. Because this is legendary. Legendary physics-defying activity. Which we will relish in, even though the Blackbeard stuff is way crazier and what, most of the discussion is going to be about. But, whew, yeah. Ace2532 said, please, for the love of God, make the Kizaru face a new emoji. It's way too perfect. We might have to do that. We might have to do that. You guys want the Kizaru face as a new emoji? Hit the likes on Ace's super chat there, which is a new feature. I've never seen that before, that you can upvote a super chat now. Demi LP said, Vegapunk's in bad shape. We could use these man-made organs right about now. You know what we could use? We could use a doctor. We could use a doctor. Do we know anybody? Is there anybody on the island that has doctoring experience? Is there a doctor in the house? Is there a doctor on the island? Oda has forgotten that there is a doctor.
Savage.
Blondie Mon supered and said, my boy Randy Troy Savage for life. Said that I need some sunlight. Is the light too bright? Barry said, Dizzy can confirm I was losing my mind over my Sanji stonks being... You know, I wasn't initially about Sanji versus Kizaru, but Oda, if you want to do it like that, we're here. We're here for it. If it's like that, yeah. Barry said we stay winning. Randy and Barry 2024. Yep. Get your votes in. We're on the ballot. Emil, member for 33 months, said, could Augur be who fed Luffy? Did Devon touch him? That's interesting. I think for something as big as touching Luffy, if that was meant to be a plot point, I think we would see it in the same way that we saw it with Saturn. So, I don't think that that's the case. Guardian Trees, Super had said, Sanji getting his rooftop moments, Caribou seemed far away, so someone else fed Luffy, Van Augur or Kizaru. I think what they're saying is that Luffy fed Luffy. I think that's the implication here. That he was stretching to the machine, he knew the machine existed, and he fed himself. Kizaru did not feed Luffy, and that's it. And neither did Caribou.
Savage.
So that's where I'm at with that. Shout out to my guy Fable. Said it's almost that time. It is almost that time. We've got giants here. We've got Usopp recognizing that there are giants here. It's that time. Good to see you, man. Perpetual Punster said, crazy idea. Could Augur be Lafitte with Devon's power used on him, and that's why he notes he hasn't mastered the power yet? If her ability can make someone else look like someone and give them the devil fruit power, then it's top in the verse. I don't think that that's possible. I think that the awakening of being able to turn someone else into something is interesting. But transferring an ability, you might as well just give everybody, the Quake fruit at that point. Or something, everybody on the crew's got to have it. I think that would be too crazy. Now, we did expect Lafitte to be here, and he's not, which means that Lafitte is being saved for some crazy thing, because he's the last key in this puzzle of what devil fruit does he have? Is it an angel fruit? Is it some sort of mythical bird? Is it a siren? Where does the hypnotism come from? Is it his fruit, or is it something that he learned prior? Did he go to the same school as Django? Who knows? But I am most interested in Lafitte right now, but also Augur really is like shooting up, skyrocketing in the, this idea of how cool he is with that long, just the world moment. And the look of disappointment that he gives Saturn is so beautiful. I love it. I love it so much. And the thing here is like, there's a lot of game-breaking chapters that'll change the way you view an arc and like how an arc is supposed to go. But this is game-breaking in that it actually dictates where the end game of the story is going to go. Like, we're going to be able to put together Blackbeard's like entire plan now, basically, especially with the Caribou point at the end, which, R.I.P. that his man is Crocodile. Now, that doesn't mean that he couldn't have been former Baroque Works. That's still possible, but it's the Occam's razor. Even when I always said, like, I wanted this point of contact to be Crocodile, I was like, but the obvious choice is Blackbeard. I'd always say that. And I always said it in a disappointing way because it's something that I felt would disappoint me if it happened. But now, there's actually one thing that Oda did in this particular chapter that makes me like it. And if this particular point that I'm about to bring up wasn't there, I wouldn't like this. But what I do like is that Caribou is the inversion of, the mirror to Bartolomeo. So now, going into the yin and yang of Blackbeard and Luffy, where, the cherry pie is good, the cherry pie is bad, all of this stuff, everything that we see Luffy doing, there is a cause and effect mirror inversion of it with Blackbeard. And now we have Bartolomeo, who was inspired by Luffy 2 years ago to become a pirate and now flies his flag under Luffy. Blackbeard also has his own Bartolomeo, someone who watched everything that he did and went ahead and got was inspired to become a pirate himself and has been looking for Blackbeard. So
Savage.
I need Bartolomeo and Caribou to meet. And now that I'm thinking about it too, both of their bounties are somewhere in the 200s, right? I wonder how close it is, because if they have like really similar bounties, that's actually really interesting. Bartolomeo bounty. I know they're both 200 something million. Barto is literally 200 million. Exact. Caribou is 210 million. So it's almost like there was this subtle thing right from the beginning of it all, trying to, like, if this was planned in any way from the beginning, it's right there. Like, it's the kid and Luffy element back in the first side of Sabati, where it's like there is someone on top of this person. We didn't even know Barto at that time, but I love that, because it's like, okay, this guy's got 10 million more than him, so when they're fighting each other, it's going to be Bartolomeo like getting above this guy. That's a lot of fun. That's a lot of fun. But of course, the big thing is that Caribou knows about the ancient weapons. So now everything that Blackbeard is going to do for the next couple of years, probably, when we're cutting back to him, is going to be collecting the ancient weapons. Which is crazy. So it's like, we're going to be in Elbaf. Maybe Blackbeard has nothing to do with Elbaf. And in the background, he's just going to be making these moves that are going to make things really difficult for Luffy. And unlike the way that he thought about, like, Ace and Vivi, like, oh, they're having their own adventure, I think that if he heard about Shirahoshi, he would know that she's not a pirate and hasn't, like, been on the seas. So that's
Savage.
where we'll tie into the Charlie prophecy, where, people forget, we have to go to Fishman Island again, because it was prophesized at the beginning of Fishman Island. So it's going to get destroyed. By the Quake fruit? Maybe. And then Charlie's prophecy was just seeing Luffy there, trying to stop it, perhaps. Shout out to Ace2532, super chat at 20, appreciate you. Who said, Augur being here fulfills the second part of Igaram's words to Vivi back in chapter 823. The great bird is Morgan's, and the sniper is likely Augur. The meteorite must mean Fujitora, so he'll probably show up before Vivi does. I mean, look, I've wanted Fujitora in this arc since the beginning, because every time that we've seen him after Dressrosa, he's been talking about the Seraphim. Calling them the SSG, everything. He's talked about Vegapunk. He should have been a part of this arc from the start. But I don't know. I like the callback to 823 with the sniper being Augur. Does that mean that the blimp will come, and for whatever reason, Augur will decide to shoot it down. I mean, that would be an interesting way to like actually involve Phoebe, Morgans, and Wapple in the action of everything, so that his blimp is out of the way and then everybody's on the Sunny. I mean, that's fun. Or is it a thing where Fujitora shows up and a meteorite knocks the blimp down because he's been ordered to silence Morgans from getting any information about this incident out to the world? Oh, that would be wild. And could very well be a moment for Fujitora to, like, really crack against the world government and realizing, like, wow, you guys are having me do some really messed up stuff. Guardian Trees supered and said, I wonder if Caribou is acting. He is desperate to get off the island. Still might be loyal to Mr. Zero. Heavy cope for me. Hey, look, I'll take the cope. I still want it. I think it's a better version of all of this, but I do like this Bartolomeo angle now because it is giving that mirror effect, and we'll have a mirror match where the two fanboys of the two people that are at the top of this era will duke it out. Blondie Mon supered and said, Chinzilla is our One Piece version of the Hulk. Red King. Gilly Chinzilla. Fable said, this was too good a chapter. Thank you, Oda. Love y'all. I mean, it had just about everything that we could possibly want in a chapter. I mean, a major Sanji feat, Blackbeard stocks, and game-changing world-building theory conversations that will continue for months, if not years to come. A little reminder that Vivi was there in Little Garden as well, so that, I mean, that's kind of a blink and miss little panel there, but hey, she's there. She knew the Giants, so she's on her way. Come on. I'll never stop preaching that. The Zoro stuff is funny. I love this. This Bonnie and Luffy stuff is really giving apprentice vibes. Like, if we're gonna go down that route, like, this is like a good setup for it. And this Caribou stuff. Oh man, but I mean, you have the Giants at the beginning. Elbaf. This is insane. I can unpin that message now. Just catching up with the chat here, guys. Mark said, why have I never considered the possibility of Bonnie being an apprentice? I think I like it. I mean, if that's the route that we're going with everything, that's what she would be. I've been saying that, we should have apprentices on the crew. That's what Tama for Nakama and, Momo for Nakama was built out of, 5 years ago. Muglatan supered and said Elbaf is Blackbeard's arc. I mean, that's how I've felt about everything. I that's what I want it to be, because, there's so much lore potentially with You know, I've been saying Elbaf should be Blackbeard's arc for a while now. And since his hobby is archaeology, and if all of the books are there, like, he really should be there. But that's the interesting thing about Augur's ability, right? Is Blackbeard can technically be wherever he wants almost as quickly as he wants now. So he can send troops to Fishman Island. He can send troops to Wano. He can send troops to Marijoa, Devon, right? He can go to Elbaf himself, as long as Augur's got the stamina for all of it. But, and then you also have, you know, potentially a mirror when Kuma dies, that we will also have our own teleporter on our crew. Vivi eats the Niku Niku, or somebody else,
Savage.
or whatever, but, you know, we're Team Vivi with the Niku Niku. But I have never felt more secure in the idea that Blackbeard is going to get Pluton, because Pizarro, his fruit, which seemed just like a, you know, a Pika ripoff, right? But he's able to get in touch with the core of any island. So if they go to Wano, they just need Pizarro with them, and they will know exactly where Pluton is underground, and he'll probably be able to unearth it. So I feel like 100% certain that that's the way that that's going to go, and it gives Oda, you know, some plot leeway to why he left certain characters behind on Wano. But I actually didn't finish this super. Elbaf is Blackbeard's arc. Pluton will be that arc's obligatory ticking clock, clock tower bomb, birdcage, etc., for when Blackbeard shows up there. That's interesting. Yeah, and my points still stand. That is exactly how they will get Pluton, is Avalo Pizarro. Yeah, the fact that Augur said that he hasn't mastered everything severely implies that, just like Burgess, he's only recently got this fruit, which goes back to the, you know, the beginning of the time skip, where Jinbei was, you know, laying everything down and saying, like, hey, the Blackbeard pirates are out hunting devil fruits. So, whereas the most likely thing is that out of the original Blackbeard pirates, it was probably just Teach and Lafitte that had fruits, and then everybody else just got them in the past couple months. Brandon King super chatted and said Katarina and Van Augur touched/fed Luffy. Maybe Blackbeard uses Luffy's likeness to destroy his two territories, Fishman Island and Wano. Katarina destroys Fishman Island, and Luffy and Nika gets framed. Ooh. Oh, wow.
Savage.
I didn't like the idea when it was brought up earlier, but when it's framed in that way, then I do kind of like it. But you would need a scene where, like, Shirahoshi tries to talk to Katarina Devon while they're Luffy, and they instantaneously know that it's not Luffy. But nobody else sees that, and everybody else just thinks it is Luffy. Which also adds more context to the line I brought up earlier, where it was like, friend or foe, you decide. Like, they will literally make that decision if that's the case. I mean, putting Katarina at Fishman Island also just makes sense because the proximity to the Red Line, the proximity to Marijoa. If there's anything that's going on with Fishman Island, like, say, this isn't the whole Katarina's going by herself pretending to be Luffy thing, and we're actually getting a Luffy physically being there thing fighting Blackbeard, Katarina would be able to be very close up on Marijoa, like doing a bunch of stuff as Saturn, finding the giant hat, finding, whatever the treasure is that Doflamingo has been, harping about. Shout out to Ishmael Sari, who said Sanji washes Zoro because he can kick lasers. It reminds me of when Zoro fought Mr. One, and he's just like, when we're done with this fight, I gotta thank you, because I'm gonna be a man who can cut steel. Sanji didn't do all that. He just showed up and kicked light. So now Zoro really needs to get in there so he can say, I gotta thank you, because when I'm done with this fight, I'll be a man who can cut light. Brandon said, yeah, that's fair. Can't stay long. Celebrating my birthday in a few days, but wanted to drop this theory about the chap that I really vibe with. Well, I'm glad you did. I'm glad you framed it in the way that you did. And happy birthday, Brandon. Boom. Yeah, there you go. Dizza. Like Katarina calls her Shirahoshi instead of Wimpy Hoshi. Yep. That's the exact perfect. No notes. Emil Superden said, if Teach attacks Wano, would Zunisha interfere? It depends on how far Zunisha left the Wano waters. And more importantly, does Caribou know that Momonosuke can communicate with Zunisha? Because if that's the case, then I would see Teach kidnapping Momo. Which would keep Momo in the story, and I could see Oda trying to do that. And then, part of it becomes rescuing Shirahoshi, rescuing Momonosuke, blah, blah, blah. Yes, Flan, I've been in the lab. I gotta get outside. Cold Killer saying, chill, Flan. We haven't had a lot of sun in SoCal these past few months. Yeah, it's been a lot of rain. Alejandro Salas said, sorry I can't make it to the streams anymore, but I think the Sunny will hit the Fabio laser dome and will be damaged. Also, Caribou 11th captain. With the X on his chest, like, I would want Caribou to have been the actual 10th captain, or maybe he replaces Kuzan after Kuzan betrays him and then becomes the next 10th captain. And it's all good, Alejandro. I mean, it's, I appreciate you dropping in. And what I think is going to happen, I would actually love if the Sunny got damaged, because it'll add some tension to the arc. It'll give us a story reason to go to Elbaf, because we'll probably be able to use the trees there to repair it. But what I think is going to happen is they're going to ask Edison to lower the shield, and then, or Nami, Usopp, whoever's there, and then they will get outside, but what it'll do, it'll be the final nail in the coffin for Egghead, because the shield will be completely down, and they'll be able to destroy everything, and they probably won't be able to get it back up once it's down, because some cannon or something will blow a thing that stops it from going back up. And I just saw that Ace 2532's super about making Kizaru the face a new emoji had 32 likes on that, so that's enough for me to edit that together and make that a new emoji. So we'll have that for the next stream. But we also need people to be able to use the emoji, so. Shout out to Ishmael, who said future fight Caribou versus Bartolomeo. Yep, I spent about 10 minutes or so talking about that. So it's going to be a mirror fight for sure. And it's built into the story. It's the yin and yang of Blackbeard and Luffy. They both have guys that are complete fanboys of them. And I think that was a really smart way to go about the Caribou character. So, catching up here. I mean, Blackbeard is definitely going to go to Wano now. And I wonder what that will end up meaning for Yamato in particular. I wonder if it's going to be a situation where Yamato fights the Blackbeard pirates and then loses and then, sets sail looking for Luffy, and then maybe they're the ones that explain what happened. I could totally see a chapter during Elbaf end with, Yamato washing up onto the Elbaf shores or something, and, yelling at Luffy, blah, 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 or, it's gone. They took him, something like that. And then the following chapter, we do this whole flashback of Pizarro unearthing Pluton and stealing Momonosuke or something. But I'm also okay with Yamato never really coming back into the story, but it seems inevitable with this chapter now, though. I really like that Usopp was able to see Dory and Broggy immediately after they arrived. We didn't drag it out for multiple chapters. I'm happy about that. I'm really excited for their eventual conversation. I'm really curious what all of this means for Saturn's life. You know, like, because I can't tell if this confirms that he's going to die, or if it's saying that he's going to live. Because it's like, by them not killing him there and immediately replacing him, is it important for them to have him be alive? Because that's what it seems like part of their plan is, to have him actually be alive. So now I'm really thinking that Saturn survives this, even though I don't want that. Unless we see Katarina, like, stay by to see what happens to Saturn, or they're immediately warping to Marijoa. But considering that everybody knows that he's on this mission, that would automatically be a red flag, like, how did you get back so fast? So there's a little bit of confusion there. But if he's alive, and then, you know, we're a month into the future or something, and he's back at Marijoa, then Devon would be able to move around freely and have doors open, because random people would be none the wiser. They'd just be like, okay, yeah, Saint Saturn, come on, walk through here. And then Devon's, like, main thing would have to be making sure that she just doesn't run into Saturn, or that when she, you know, goes into the main chambers of Pangaea Castle, he's in the bathroom or something. Hey, no worries, Sway Shocks. It would be cool if Dofi was involved, like, whenever we actually get to Marijoa and, like, Devon is walking around the treasure and everything. If it's Dofi that, like, he just, for whatever reason, is just already there where the treasure is, and it's just like, you're not Saturn. It'd be a great way to gas Dofi up.
Savage.
Shout out to Terrible TJ, who said, if Katarina did copy Luffy's appearance and the Blackbeard pirates attack Fishman Island, I want to see her awaken her fruit, making their crew look like the Straw Hats. Like Tomorrow Black and the fake Straw Hats. Now that's fun. That's actually really interesting, because it's like, that's the way you need to up the stakes of a fruit like that. So if and we've talked about, you know, a long time ago, we talked about her ability being able to do that, you know, like when we were talking about awakenings and stuff, because it's just like, okay, so if Luffy's awakening can make someone else rubbery, right? Then that means that the awakening is taking your power and transferring it onto someone else. So how would a copy user be able to transfer their ability onto someone else? Would be changing their form. So if it's she would literally have to touch every single one of the Straw Hats, though. But I don't know when that would have happened. Maybe in that time that we didn't see, right? Maybe in that time that we didn't see. And I could see Oda actually, like, skipping all of that stuff in the first place to show that she literally already has everybody's likeness in her memory bank now. And that's why we skipped straight to 1089, because we would know that they've copied the Straw Hats. They're going to do something that involves copying the Straw Hats. Neil said a disguised Devon can probably order the admirals. A disguised Devon can also order the Seraphim, which we know that Blackbeard wanted. He wanted the Marimara no Mi. Well, now he has control over S. Snake as long as Bonnie's not around. But then again, does Bonnie only work on the Kumas? Or can she control the Seraphim? Like, we didn't actually get confirmation on that. Just that anything that has Kuma's face, a Pacifista, a Mark III, we don't even know about S. Bear, but likely, right? But does that transfer to the other Seraphim? Don't know. Double O Flevance
Savage.
Superden said, if Saturn goes missing after Egghead, Blackbeard can bluff the world government by saying he has a Gorse and Gar. Oh, there it is. There it is. There it is. That's how he gets made king. Because the only way for him to stroll up to Marijoa without anybody killing him and get Hachinosu recognized as a kingdom is if he's literally got Saturn hostage. That is...
It's about to get spicy.
Someone cooked here.
Someone cooked here. I love that. Because I was sitting here thinking, and I was like, you know what? Garp alone shouldn't be enough for that to happen. And now that they have Saturn's image, like, because part of the plan is to get recognized as a kingdom, right? So this is the whole becoming, this is the inversion to becoming a warlord in pre-time skip to get access to Impel Down. So it's like Hachinosu needs to become recognized as a kingdom to get access to Marijoa. And it seemed like in this chapter, by touching Saturn, that Blackbeard's plan would work, and he would get access to Marijoa for Devon to be able to run around and do things as Saturn. But now, if it's actually a bargaining chip to get there in the first place, like if Egghead explodes and Saturn is just, they don't know what happened, but we know that he's actually dead, right? But then Blackbeard somehow gets in touch with Gorse, the admirals, whatever. It's just like, yeah, we got him. How? You know, whatever. But it would be able to open doors. I like that. Jin said, does Emu give a damn about a Gorse, Randy? Probably. There's one of two outcomes. Either Emu's gonna blow up whatever island Blackbeard is on, or say fine as a ploy to get Saturn back. Because I mean, there's two ways, you know, that it goes. Either this negotiation tactic, or just randomly warp there and start walking around and acting as though you are them to get what you want and get out. Either way, Blackbeard's winning, as usual. Let's get these likes up, people. Like, comment, subscribe if you're feeling the vibe. Emil said, if Saturn dies, Garlink could become a Gorosei next. That's interesting. I don't know if it works that way, but... be interesting. One thing that this chapter has me really thinking, or really, I would say, rethinking and reconfiguring in my mind, is how I perceive rocks now. And I've got a lot of thoughts on that. So, a little bit of chair piece, and then we're going to talk about Blackbeard's lineage and rocks. Okay, we back. Warp. Not just Van Augured, yeah. Alright, so Blackbeard and his crew are after Zaworudo. They're after the world. Who also was after the world? Who wanted to be king of the world? Not king of the pirates, but king of the world. That was rocks. Chair piece, we lost 50 people doing chair piece. So if those of you in the chat know that I want Rocks to have been a good guy, like someone that was misinterpreted. But this chapter, especially with the Caribou moment and Augur's line, which was a great line, and this yin and yang idea that Blackbeard and Luffy are complete opposites of each other. Inherited will, all of this stuff. It's starting to make me lean towards the idea of Rocks, unfortunately, literally being the Occam's razor of a super evil dude. And that he was the anti-Roger in the way that Blackbeard is the anti-Luffy. And they're both after the same thing. Does that mean that Blackbeard is literally a descendant of Rocks? Is he just inheriting his will? What is the relationship between these two characters? But their goals are completely the same, so he is literally the saber of Zebek trying to finish what he started. Assembling a crew of some of the, that's Saturn called it, ruthless savages, right? I don't know if he said ruthless. I know he said savages, though, so shout out to that. But I really wanted Sengoku to be an unreliable narrator, but I'm starting to think that maybe he was telling the truth. I still want my outcome, but I see where Oda's going now. And yeah. Brandon said, before I go, fun fact, Lafitte is the last Blackbeard pirate we don't know the whereabouts of. His birthday is in a month, March 13th. Oda's waiting. Birthday peace. I mean, hey, Brogy showed up on his birthday. So, we do know that Oda literally does that. Vivi showed up last year on her birthday. A lot of characters get thrown into the story on their birthday. Kid was shown on his birthday. Croc, blah blah blah, bunch of stuff. So I really want to know what Lafitte is up to. He is the most interesting Blackbeard pirate member to me, but I mean, he is getting severely outshined by Augur recently. Shout out to Killer Comedy. Yes, like D-Stream, we do have virtual cookies.
Come with me if you want to live.
Lafitte is after the man marked by flames. Okay. I mean, I can see that, considering that that was, directly tied into where we got some of that information was in that little flashback, and Lafitte was kind of driving that conversation as well. So that would track if that's the case. Jamil said, hear me out. Where is Hattori / Lafitte? Hattori is not Lafitte. Stop. I know it's funny, but it's legitimately not. It's such a meme theory. Vern said, so I'm watching One Piece with my wife and roommate. We finished Reverse Mountain last night, and my roommate says, I hope the Straw Hats find and beat up the crew that left behind Laboon. Oh, man. I have a new theory that ties into some Reverse Mountain stuff, but I'm not going to get into it here. Save it for a video. But I'm glad that your wife's watching. You doing One Piece? How you watching? Derek Miles said, Dofi doesn't fit on Cross Guild. He's too evil. He's better on Blackbeard's crew, in my opinion. It'd be funny to see Kuzan and Dofi have to work together. That's interesting. It's interesting. It is. We'll just have to wait and see. I think that this was all set up in Chapter 0, though. That if Dofi gets out, he'll be in some way allied to the Cross Guild. Derek is saying to look at chapter 256. Looking at 256. This is that little flashback in Skypiea. What's the... I guess I gotta read the other messages you sent here. Wiper demanded the heads of the 100 Sky people for their past transgressions. Rox was the no hockey king. He just had supremely powerful Logia, dragons Logia. I mean, this is a lot of speculation that we can't really confirm any of that yet. I think that there's, a lot in Skypiea that we'll be able to draw from, like the end of the story and everything, but we don't know enough about Rox to make as detailed a comparison as we're making here, though. You're definitely gonna have to make that switch around there for sure, Vern. But they do have Little Garden, Whiskey Peak, Drum. Those are all done. I think they have Alabasta up to at least the Mr. One fight. All of Jaya. Only about like 5 or 6 episodes of Skypiea though. And then from Long Ring Longland on is like all done, so yeah. I said Sanji's a big fan of Huey Lewis in the news. Is he going to start carrying around an axe and doing weird dances? Worrying about people's business cards? Oh, the power of love. Yeah. You like Huey Lewis in the news? Yeah. Alright, yeah, that's a good one. Making Back to Future references, and I'm making American Psycho ones. Alm said, any chance that Blackbeard's eventual defeat comes partly from being betrayed by some of his crew? The feat being brought up here had me wondering. I mean, there's... The story is already built in an eventual betrayal from Kuzan, for sure. Like, if there's ever some sort of transgression that's about to happen to Robin, I feel like that's the one thing where Kuzan will step in and try to stop Blackbeard at that moment. But no betrayal to Blackbeard, I think, is going to actually end well for whoever betrays them. So it's like Kuzan might get a really good hit on Blackbeard, and it might be something like that turns the tide in whatever fight he has with Luffy to the equivalent of like, you know, if he like stabs him with like a bunch of ice, and it's almost like, you know, the Katakuri fight with Luffy. The first thing that I would see is that Blackbeard would immediately kill Kuzan after that. Because it's like, if you get that hit in, you're dead. Whoever betrays Blackbeard, they may hurt him, and it may give Luffy what he needs to win, but that person will die. See you, Vern. Appreciate you, man. Chen said Oda chose Van Augur and Katarina. Interesting choice. Yeah, I mean, it seemed almost entirely set up that it was going to be Lafitte and Devon. But it makes sense with Augur. I mean, Oda's kind of abusing Augur's power, but I think that it's also a way for him to explain how important it is to be able to teleport in this world in the first place, so that it'll make us getting the Nikyu on our side that more we'll have a better appreciation for having it on our side, knowing what Blackbeard is able to do with it. Like, it also explains how they were able to get through the lava phase, because he could just teleport inside of it. So that's fun. Teal Traveler said, this is what, the third time someone has brought up Sanji breaking the laws of nature by his antics, first by Chopper in Fishman Island, then Queen and Wano, now Kizaru in this chapter. But he is not an ordinary human. He was experimented on. He is different. He is special. To steal Katarina Devon's words, Sanji is special. So what are some of the other things that people are talking about with this chapter? What's been like the big conversation this week? Have people been like getting into all of the movements of Blackbeard? Have people been focusing mostly on the Sanji and Zoro discourse that I can imagine got out of control? Zoro stock's going down. Yeah, that's the conversation that is kind of overtook everything with this Blackbeard stuff. People clowning on Zoro for stalemating Lucci. Blazer said, biggest thing I noticed was Stella's missing antenna behind Sanji. I want to look at that. It's in the other scene, so I think it just wasn't drawn there. Like, he still has the full apple on his head there when Bonnie's over his body. Subtle color, the tasteful thickness. Let's see Paul Allen's card. Usopp versus Augur has been a topic of discussion. It's going to be a really good fight. And I mean, it's going to have to be. But as it stands right now, Augur is like in a completely different echelon than Usopp. He needs to become a brave warrior of the sea fast. Which almost, you know, this is against agenda, right? But what if Usopp was the one who ate the Nikyu Nikyu? So then it's literally two people that can teleport that are snipers fighting each other. That don't really have a full handle on their ability in the first place. I still want it to be Vivi, but, you know, it's like that would be interesting. But I actually would prefer it if Usopp was able to beat him without effort, without the ability to teleport. Because it also shows just how far he's come and like how advanced his observation hockey is that he would be able to hit him even with all of the warping. Vivi and Usopp versus Van Augur said Beat Gamer. Speaking my language. Usopp just keeps firing things at Vivi and she is teleporting them around. I'm okay with that. Bandana power scale through the roof. Yeah, I mean, we haven't seen Bandana Zoro this entire arc, so pretty sure I mentioned it when I was doing the reaction, where it's just like, where is the bandana? I need the bandana boy. Bonnie and Luffy dynamic was wholesome. She did have some great character growth, Derek. And again, I am 51% leaning towards Revolutionary Army for Bonnie, 49% joining the crew. I'm open to either option, and I think that there is a really fun dynamic. And I like the idea that Luffy, you know, still doesn't understand what he is or who he is, and that this child, Bonnie, may be the one that's able to explain it, and, you know, maybe be able to get even more information about it from the giants, because he's literally the god that they worship in the first place. So that may be like one of the big things about Elbaf, is that we actually literally learn about the sun god because it's their god, so they're able to talk about it from that perspective. We get it firsthand from people who legitimately would have known Sun God Nika through their grandparents, based on how, you know, long giants live. So it's, you know, what's 800 years for them is really only, you know, and like 10 to 20 lifetimes for a human is only 3 lifetimes for a giant. Hungry Panda said, have I seen Joy Boy's new theory video yet? No, what is the topic? He has been cooking lately, would love to see a theory for theory with him. We had Joy Boy pretty recently on. I do love, you know, cooking with JB, but, you know, it's savage. Probably wait a few months to bring him back. Unless we do some sort of like group collab thing, but yeah, would love to know what the topic was, though. Usopp gets premonition hockey, said Logan. I mean, Usopp should get future sight. I was said, do the Giants even remember Usopp? That's wild. They're all going to remember him. Like Doribrogi, Oimo, and Kashi. Like he is the giant whisperer. So don't sleep on Usopp's ability to take these giants into battle. There's 8,000 soldiers right here. You know why Usopp's going to be brave? Because he's got all of these guys behind him. Or in front. Whatever. TV in the Attic said, I definitely want to know what Blackbeard's lineage bloodline line was all about. Son of Rocks. Yeah, I mean, that's where I was kind of going with things when I, talked about Rocks for about 20 minutes. And I feel like that has to be part of the implication there. Like, Teach is special because he's carrying out the will and desires of the man who got closest to destroying the world or becoming king of the world. Essentially, that's the way I'm kind of reading into it. It feels very Rocks coded, but I would love a twist that isn't the Occam's razor answer.
Savage.
Shout out to Double O Flevens, who said, Part 1. I think Usopp is going to get Mjolnir. It will have a rejectile. That's fun. Rouge and Usopp training montage. He will use his Devil Fruit to beef up the damage output of the dial. Usopp will defeat Van Augur using both a close and range attack. He will lie about his future moves with advanced observation and predict his warps, catching Augur from behind with the hammer, since it'll act like a boomerang. Flevens is just cooking today.
Cook.
If that happens. I think the Arouge part of it is really interesting, but asking for a lot. I do like the idea of Mjolnir becoming something that is in the story, right? It's pulled from Norse mythology, and that Usopp proves his worthiness by being able to pick up the hammer or pull the sword out of the stone, or something rooted in all of that, right? Something that's just like only the worthy can pick this up, and for Usopp to be that would be great.
Savage.
The Arouge angle, I like it. We just have no idea if Arouge is actually going to be a part of Elbaf or even be a part of the story going forward.
Savage.
But I love the idea of also bringing back the rejectile, because that was such a good part of Skypiea, and I am such a big fan of Wiper that having Usopp using that in the first place would be a callback that I really want. I love it. This would be me. and Usopp lying in order to get the win, like that's Usopp. And I also like the idea of someone from the Blackbeard Pirates, people that are not good people, trustworthy people, losing because of a lie it's awesome. That's I love the idea. I love that. Hungry Panda super chatted and said he tied Poseidon to Bonnie, saying the Sea Kings are made by ancient kingdom, and Poseidon has the authority chip, like Bonnie has to the pacifistas. Hold on, I gotta read that again, because I don't know if I'm following. He tied Poseidon to Bonnie. Who? Who's he? Saying the Sea Kings are made by the ancient kingdom. Well, I mean, I like the idea of comparing what Shirahoshi can do with the Sea Kings as like having an authority chip. Like, I haven't looked at it in that perspective, but it's like that is kind of that's it. It's like Shirahoshi has the authority chip for Sea Kings, so that's an interesting way of thinking about it. But I still don't know. I'm not seeing the tie between Poseidon and Bonnie outside of that, unless that is the take there. But I do like the... Are we saying he is Oda? So like Oda tied Poseidon to Bonnie. So it's like they both have authority chips. If that's the case, then yeah, I get what you're saying. And I like that. How do I feel about Blackbeard having access to 2 ancient weapons now? Said Hard Rocker. The same way I feel about Blackbeard having access to 3 ancient weapons right now. Because with Saturn being able to open up doors, potentially if Uran is at Marijoa, I think we're just pushing forward towards the end game of the story. Like, this is literally a situation where this is fast tracking and fast traveling the end. And it may be a thing where when we're fighting Blackbeard, he has all 3 ancient weapons, you know, or it's like he has Pluton, but we have Shirahoshi, and maybe Blackbeard also has Uranus, and it's just trying to maneuver all of this. It's gonna get wacky. It's gonna get wild. Oh, we're talking about Joy Boy, because that was the thing. We've seen Joy Boy's new theory video. He tied Poseidon. Joy Boy tied Poseidon. I gotcha. I'm sorry, Hungry Panda. That was a part 2 to your previous thing. It is a smart way of looking at it. So I do like what Joy Boy's saying there. B-Gamer said, how does Blackbeard capture Shirahoshi? She can literally cry and hundreds of Sea Kings come to destroy Blackbeard. How can she cry if, say, Caribou absorbs her into his body? They're not going to hear her through all the mud. She'll be literally in the mud. So... Shirahoshi isn't going to willingly... She might do one act that helps Blackbeard out of just pure survival instincts, and then when it comes to doing something that will like potentially hurt Luffy or anybody that she loves, she'll not help him. So, and then eventually we'll just have her on our side, and we'll be able to use the Sea Kings to fight off Blackbeard's forces as well. Jen said, in case you didn't know, it's easy to capture Shiro. She got caught 3 times already. Yeah, exactly. Baby Pluto N, we're doing great. We're doing great. We got, some peak fiction here. And there's a lot of theories and things to be talked about for months, if not years to come. So, probably start winding down and wrapping up the stream here in the next 5 to 10 minutes or so. Going to be on the One Piece podcast today. I don't know if it's a thing where it's live or if it's pre-recorded and posted tomorrow. Not sure how that's going to work. I just know that I think it's tonight. What is Blackbeard after in Marijoa? If Uranus is there, he's probably after that. He's probably after the hat. The hidden treasure that Doflamingo talked about, very vaguely. Whatever it is, it's something that requires Saturn's visage to open the door to get into. But the other thing too is like, even though Devon says mission complete, it really seems like they didn't expect Saturn to be there. Like, as if... Like, I'm still curious if that's what they set out there for, or if it was just fate and happenstance that allowed them to... allowed all of that to happen. Like, I still feel like they had to go there under other pretenses. Unless they have a spy in the Marines or in the government that was able to let them know that Saturn was actually, left his perch. I don't know. What do you guys think about that? Like, do you have any, deeper reads on that? Because that's... I don't know. It's tough for me to wrap my head around them knowing that he was on the way. And that they went there specifically for Saturn. I think they went there, to get a snake because they wanted the Mero Mero no Mi. And then over the course of getting there, realized that he was there, that he had the highest authority, and then it's like, okay, well, this is the new mission. Because this will make everything else easier. They thought that they could get Vegapunk or Kizaru, but found Saturn. Yeah, I like that. I like that they were after somebody who had authority, and then just so happened to get the highest authority. But it's just the way that it's written made it seem like, okay, they were after Saturn the whole time. D. LaJoy Boy, Superden said, I think it was to take at least one Seraphim and get a way to control them. Copying Saturn would allow that, and they were in bubbles the last time we saw them. Yeah, I mean, I've been saying since we, actually, before we even saw Blackbeard show up, the raft, I have been saying that Blackbeard would show up to collect a snake because he wants the Mero Mero. So that all makes sense to me. And now they have the highest authority, meaning that they are able to use S-Snake for whatever they needed in terms of, you know, putting Hancock's fruit to their advantage. Shout out to Double of Flevens, who said
Savage.
Blackbeard doesn't sleep, he daydreams. Yeah. He's all about that money, rise and grind.
Savage.
Paths super chatted and said, what if the spy intel has been coming from Lafitte and that's why he's been missing from the story for a bit? I'd love that. Shout out to Dochi for subscribing. Be like him. Like, comment, subscribe. Let me know that you're feeling
Come with
good.
me if you want to live.
I just want Oda to tell me what Lafitte's been up to. He's my favorite Blackbeard pirate. I want to see Lafitte. Okay, so that's interesting. Miles said, what if Blackbeard had intercepted or listened in somehow to the York and Gorosei conversations? Which is something that I meant to talk about earlier and forgot about. Is just like, everybody was so sure that York was going to, like, join Blackbeard. And I did like that idea. And, you know, I feel like there's a version of the story where they teleported and it was York saying, take me with you. And, you know, and instead we got the Caribou element, which feels like a diversion from everybody's York idea, but goes back to the ideas that people have had since Return to Sabati, where it's just like, yeah, Caribou wants to tell all of this. To Fishman Island. Yeah, Caribou wants to give all this information to Blackbeard. Jen thinks the title for Chapter 1108 is going to be La Torre, and we're going to find out that Torre and Lafitte are the same guy. So I don't even remember how that theory started, and I don't want to get into it. It's so like, it's so Thomas Teapot to me. Like, it's Thomas Teapot level as far as like a theory.
You loyal.
Beat Gamer thinks that Zoro and Lucci will wrap up in the next chapter, and Egghead will end in the next 8 chapters. Egghead is going to end before 11:15. I've been saying that because that will be 1,000 chapters from the introduction to Elbaf, Little Garden. So, and everything feels like it's wrapping up anyway. So, I think it'll actually 35. Yeah, that's 8 chapters. So I think it'll actually. I think we're going to be on our way to Elbaf by 11:15. So this is all going to wrap up even sooner than that. Shout out to my guy Ty. Said, sorry I'm late, Captain. Spring training, super hectic. Your future sight proved on point again because Van Augur is him. He is him. He is him. You sure he's not your Blackbeard pirate? I mean, he is. The gas and the glaze on Van Augur lately is so wild. Like with the episode and then now this chapter. He look, unless Lafitte shows me something, like Van Augur is my second favorite Blackbeard pirate, and it's really close now. Because he is just cold. Like, the way he looked at Saturn with that, like, disappointed look. Like, there was, like, the way Oda drew that panel was so great, because it's just like, he was looking at him like you're nothing. And then just teleports out of nowhere. And I love that. And the way that they really hyped him up in that episode. I don't know. As far as feats go, he's got the best feats now. And it's hard to be a Lafitte fan right now. It's hard. It's hard. And then Ty said, "What's up, Savage Crew? Big shout out to the new Texas trio." Yeah. Nah, this episode was insane. Sorry, this chapter. This chapter is insane. Like, there's so much. I'm getting ready to wrap the stream up pretty soon here, but definitely missed a lot of what we were talking about. We went into a lot of stuff. I mean, there's so many things that come out of this now. So many things that aren't actually going to get answered for months, if not years. So it's like, that's how game breaking this information is, because we can sit here and speculate for a long time on what this means for Blackbeard's plans. And that's essentially what the analysis is, you know, when I get to it, it's going to be all based around anyway. It's just like kind of like laying out all of the stages of what this plan could be now. Because I feel like Oda, by giving us this information, it's almost like Oda is spoiling us on what Blackbeard is going to do. You know, we don't know the specifics, but we know where he has to go, what he's going to get, and how he's going to get it. We just don't know when he's going to get it now. So it's... And then Caribou being the mirror version of Bartolomeo is, you know, Bizarro Bartolomeo is good. Usopp using binoculars was hilarious. I'm just glad, like, he didn't first see them, you know, like 5 chapters from now. I'm glad we saw Dorian Broggie, and then the next chapter Usopp sees them. But yeah, now that you mention it, like, him using binoculars to see giants is kind of wild. Like, he should be able to just see them, right? The world, yeah. Miles said, "I think we get a Jinbei Zoro conversation that parallels Zoro and Luffy about Water 7 Usopp. Jinbei having to scold him because he wants to fight, and it's trumping the end goal of escaping." I mean, it would be pretty interesting, I guess, if Jinbei was just like, stop messing around and finish it. I would actually... I wouldn't say that it's a parallel... I don't want a parallel to Usopp in Water 7. I want a parallel to Zoro yelling at Luffy and Punk Hazard, where it's like, stop goofing around. So if Jinbei shows up and yells at Zoro and is just like, stop goofing around, like, take this seriously, and then like Zoro puts the bandana on him, one hit KOs Lucci, then I'm like, okay. And it's like, to save Zoro at this point, that's what Zoro's got to do anyway, to, you know, continue to show that he is on equal footing with Sanji, who just kicked light. Emil said that one of his favorite moments was Brooke drinking tea. Ty wants to see the picture of Vern, Barry, and Dizza. Still so great. Zigzag said, "Isn't kicking light just a normal hockey feat? If it was, then I don't think we would have gotten that Kizaru face. Sanji just defied the laws of physics." Literally turned light into matter in the same way that Luffy grabbed a lightning bolt out of the air and rubberized it. Same way the MCU Miss Marvel turns light into matter. I said I'm definitely gonna check the VOD because I need to see your face reacting to Kizaru's face. Oh yeah. No, we definitely relished in the you know, the Sanji of it all. We played Heat on Feet. Brought the apron out. You know, it's just one of the greatest Sanji feats in the entire series. While he's, you know, dressed in a Hawaiian shirt with a hood on it, but you know, not every day we get to relish in that Heat on Feet, so we had to. It's been, I don't know, it's probably been a year since we really had some good Heat on Feet action. Baby Pluto N said, "Why hasn't Vegapunk used the teleport thing he used when he was first introduced?" Because Oda forgot that he gave Vegapunk that. I guarantee you. And for the narrative, he needs Vegapunk to likely die here now. Three-day trip, Spitting said, "If it was moving at the speed of light, then it's a big deal because Sanji had to be moving faster than that to kick it." Zinc said, "Does Egghead have potential to be the best arc in One Piece?" They think so. I'm loving Egghead, but there are some things in this arc that are a little muddy. It's not a perfect arc. How it ends could change, you know, a lot of things, but there's a lot of elements here that really need to get sorted, and I still don't like what happened in 1089. And skipping past all of that stuff. So no matter what, just because of that, I don't know if I'll be able to put Egghead in like a top one thing unless, you know, like Vivi shows up and there's like a bunch of chapters where it's just really just made for my agendas or something. But when you take into consideration, if you take everything that happened outside of Egghead and then call it all the Egghead arc, then yes. But in my mind, also, everything that happened outside of Egghead isn't necessarily part of Egghead. It's happening outside of it, so it's like, I don't know, it's weird. But what I do feel is that everything that's happening here is setting up Elbaf to be, you know, the top arc in One Piece. But I do love this. It's this arc is already better than Wano, but Wano isn't a top arc for me. So, but this is up there. Zeke says, I think it's the best post time skip arc. I'm still in favor of Dressrosa. If I wanted to talk just post time skip arcs, I think I could go Dressrosa and then Egghead. Baby Pluto thinks Law is on his way to Sphinx to tag along with the Prison Break. If he's tagging along with the Prison Break, I would actually prefer that he got captured at some point and is in Impel Down and will be part of the Prison Break because he's in prison. Chin thinks that Law's reuniting with Kid soon. I think that Law is going to find his way to Empty Bluffs at this point. And then as a former warlord is going to get roped up into the Cross Guild stuff, especially with the way he was glazing Buggy. And with Sengoku implying that he was on his way to Empty Bluffs, it's another way to tie Sengoku to Law. And we went from the end of the Blackbeard and Law fight to the Sengoku talking about going to Empty Bluff, so it feels connected. It's an interesting take, Emil. Emil said, makes me think that Sanji might have crystalline carbon structures in his cells. Such a thing would explain his diamond-strong skin, and reflective nature would work against light. I mean, from that perspective, then, he would basically become Kizaru's natural enemy. Jin said Cross Guild is now fugitive safe haven. Pretty much, yeah. And definitely, Moria is showing up there as well.
Loyal.
I've been saying that. That's built into the whole Perona-Mihawk connection. Moogie, member for 3 months, said, just joined the stream. How you doing, Randy? I'm eating some peak. Oda put together a great feast. We're going to start wrapping the stream up, though. Let's see. Yeah, we're already at 2 hours. So, yeah, I think that's we got into a lot here. We'll get into more in the analysis. Thank you to everybody that joined me today for this monumental, game-breaking chapter. I hope everybody liked the format of bringing back the reactions into the streams. The analysis for this one's going to be fun. I'm going to be on the One Piece podcast tonight. And thank you to everybody that continues to support the channel. We're still trying some new things here, trying to restructure everything. The channel took some big hits recently, and YouTube is, I don't know, it looks like maybe things are getting better. I don't know. Cross Guild Davey backfight video is out, but I think the new thing with YouTube is If there's not enough engagement or whatever, like it's just not getting pushed out to people. So more than ever, it's like liking, commenting, and all of that. It actually is making a difference. Like they really want people to engage more than ever now, which is, you know, a lot to ask of people. I don't know. So, but for those of you that are here, for everybody that, you know, is hitting the like button and all that stuff, like, much appreciation. There's a lot to love in this chapter, and I think that things are just gonna get crazier because we are in the final chapters. There's less than 10 chapters of this arc, I guarantee it. Boogie said chapter 1111 thoughts. Zoro beats Lucci because it's his birthday. Do we have a chapter next week? Yes, we do. So we'll be right back here for sure. All right, guys. Thanks so much. If you haven't watched the Davey Backfight video, please go and watch that. I put a lot of work into that one, and it is my favorite video on the channel for sure. Thanks again, everybody, and I will see you soon.
I've been swimming deep, deep. Savage.